what do these finals mean for Giannis's legacy?
Oh, my God, everything. Could you imagine if he hyperextends his knee in Game 4 of the conference finals, and then they win. Then they get into the conference finals without Giannis. They never did that before, but without Giannis, now they do that. Oh, that's bad. If he doesn't show up, that's bad. It's not just the upside. It was the potential downside. But for him to show up on the hyperextended knee and play the way he's played, particularly in Games 2 and 3, is enhancing his legacy, in such a big way. But again, it's not just the upside, it's the swing, it's the pendulum. It went from, oh my God, this is a disaster, Giannis. You guys were getting smoked by Brooklyn. You only got advanced because Brooklyn was hurt. Otherwise, you certainly would not have advanced. And even under those circumstances, when LeBron and AD aren't there in the West, and all these, you have a path here. Even under those circumstances, you guys only get in once you get hurt. It would have been a disaster, and instead it's so good for him. There's a reason that Shaq identified Giannis as the first guy since he retired he can have the Superman nickname. Because he is, the modern game has changed. He's not as big and strong as Shaq and everything, but he's our version of that. Physically dominant. And when he imposes himself and gets some help, right? At home, he got some help. On the road, he didn't get as much help. When he gets some help, you can see in the finals, he's playing at finals MVP level, just as Shaq always did.
You know what, Max? I agree with you. Let me say this. As far as with Giannis' legacy, he's polarizing, okay? He's the most dominant player in the game today. And if Giannis takes it to another level and win this championship and wins finals MVP, then I think we ought to give him the credit as being the best player in the game of basketball, right? Dethrone LeBron James, Kevin Durant, whoever else. What he's doing right now, putting on display in these finals in Game 2 and Game 3, is phenomenal. Now, I will say this, okay? You have to credit Giannis' teammates for also putting him in position, especially in Game 3, to be successful. I thought Drew Holiday, I thought Chris Middleton did a great job of feeding the bear. They fed him. You look at Games 1 and 2, Giannis had a total of 9 post-ups. You look at Game 3, Giannis had a total of 10 by himself. He was demanding the ball in the paint. All his points came either from the free throw line or 5 feet of 5 feet in front of the basket. He did not take that many threes. He was playing the center position like Max always talk about. When I look at Giannis in the way that he's dominating, the way that he's imposing his will, playing around the basket, being a live threat to the basket, playing those dunker spot areas, being in the paint to get offensive rebounds, this is what Giannis do. This is what he always should do. And when he does that and buys into his role, he's one of the best, but he's the most dominant player in the NBA.
So here's the question now, Perk. Are you dressed for a funeral because you're ready to lay to rest your Batman Robin take? Are you ready to lay that take to rest? You said Middleton was Batman and Giannis is Robin. Is that why you're dressed for a funeral today?
No, actually, I look pretty damn good, to be honest. Some people say I look like a 6'10", 300 version pound of March Chestnut. But look, to answer your question, I'm not laying anything to rest. And here's why, right? Look, just because you're the most dominant player, Max, and you know this, doesn't mean that you're the best player. Am I saying Chris Middleton is a better player than Giannis? No, I'm not saying that. When it comes down to possession by possession, when it matters the most, like when we witnessed in Game 6, Game 7 in the Brooklyn series, who had the ball in his hands? Who was making those timely shots? It was Chris Middleton. When you look at the Atlanta series, when they closed them out, what did Chris Middleton do? He took over. We have yet to see a possession-by-possession game in this series because each home team has blown the opponent out, right? So we haven't been able to see a fourth quarter where the lead changes and we see what?
Perk, I thought Tom Brady was going to fall off a cliff. And then he won yet another Super Bowl and had a great season. I had to retire. It was wrong. It was wrong. It's okay. You could be wrong. You brought up the Batman and Robin metaphor, the analogy, okay, metaphor. Shaq and Kobe right? Shaq won all 3 finals MVPs, and he was the guy who put you in a position to win, and then Kobe took you there. He was the closer. Giannis puts them in a position to win. And then Middleton or Holiday or whoever wants to step up can help you close. That doesn't make them Batman. Giannis is still Batman. And in terms of the way they play, that's Alfred or Commissioner Gordon's problem. That's the coach. That's Budenholzer. That's not Giannis. Giannis is Batman. Can I hear you say Giannis is Batman, please, on this team? How could Giannis not be Batman on this team?
No, listen. Giannis is the best player, okay? And look, I'm not going back and forth with you about Batman, Robin, Superman, Spider-Man. I'm not doing that today. I just gave Giannis his card and called him the most. I just gave him his card and said he's the most dominant player in the NBA. But when it comes down to when it matters the most, closing time, which we haven't seen yet, right? We haven't saw it in this series. We haven't seen when it comes down to possession by possession. They trade.
Centers don't close. Bigs don't
Max.
Close.
Oh, Max, this is what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying. You've been a Chris Middleton fan for the longest. Now you sitting up here turning your back on him. You know Chris Middleton's skill set. You know that he's a guy that shoots 90, 40, 50. I heard you discredit the Milwaukee Bucks earlier, but I'm going to let that slide talking about Malcolm Brogdon and Drew Holiday is no Malcolm Brogdon. Whatever you and Keyshawn
No.
about earlier,
There's no Chris Paul.
What did you say?
I said the reason they have Drew Holiday and not Chris Paul is they didn't have the assets to go get Chris Paul because they played Milwaukee cheap and let Brogdon walk out the door. I'm not downing Drew Holiday. I'm just saying Chris Paul's a better player.
They still in the finals, and I'm not arguing that Chris Paul is the better. But they still. So what, Max? Injuries happen. Injuries happen throughout the playoffs. We could go down the history of the NBA Finals or NBA champions. Injuries happen.